This InDesign video is about creating rectangles or about placing pictures on the page. And I've grouped them together because every time you place a photograph or an image onto an InDesign page, it places both the image and it places it inside of a frame. So if I had a particular rectangle that I wanted to draw, I could do it one of two ways. One, I could take the tool and just simply click it on the page and I could enter a dimension. 3 by 2 sounds great. Once I've placed that, I'm going to go ahead and move this object until it snaps to those column guides. For some reason I wanted to scale it to be 2 columns wide, but I didn't want to change the height. I could just pull the right edge over and it won't change the height. If I wanted to change the height as well, I could do this and let it go wherever I want it to. Or if I love that proportion of it, I can hold the Command and the Shift buttons down, which will restrict or constrain the proportion, and scale it up until it fits 2 columns wide in this particular layout. If for some reason I had some other dimensions, I could come up here and look at the reference point in these X, Y, and the W and the H dimensions as well. If this is checked and I type in a specific dimension like 7 and I hit the tab button, it's going to change this from 3.1 in depth to 4.6 in depth. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that. If for some reason I wanted to scale it and I had some other dimension but I didn't want to change the height, I could uncheck this lock button. And now if I type in 7 and hit tab, it'll go ahead and change that without changing the height at all. If I wanted to, I could just draw a rectangle from scratch just by simply putting it on the page, pushing and holding the mouse button, and then I could drag this box to be whatever size I wanted it to be before I filled it with a color or a picture or something to that effect. If I wanted to place a photograph on the page, multiple ways to do that. I'm going to go up to File and pull down to Place, and I'm going to go ahead and just simply click this picture and place it on the page. I'm going to click off of it so that the dots around it are not selected. By doing that, I'm ready to place the second picture. If this picture was still selected and I tried to place another photograph, it would go ahead and replace the old one with the new one. So I am simply going to hit Command Z basically on that and start over again. So I just simply placed that picture on the page. The next picture on the page I want to take is this. I've gone up to File, Place again, and if I draw a rectangle with it, it is keeping that proportion. This is a tall vertical picture, whether I want it to be placed small or large, and then it's going to fill it to let it go on the page. Other option I could do is I could come in here and I could say, look, I really want this picture to fit within a picture window that runs off the edge of the page, so I'm going to start it right about here, and I'm going to draw a rectangle and say make it about that size. While that rectangle is selected, if I go up to File, Place, or hit the shortcut Command D, and I place this picture in here, it's going to go ahead and crop it and fit in that particular size, but obviously this is a huge picture, it's not really showing. I have 5 little buttons that are located up here in the top of this control palette, running from Fill Frame proportionally, Fit Content proportionally, Center Content over on the right. Those objects are also located up under Object, Fitting, the exact same commands if you'd prefer to pull it this way, or I can also access those by control clicking on this picture, and I can come inside and check the fitting commands here as well. So what I'm going to do with this particular cat is I'm going to click on it, click on the frame, and I'm going to choose this option right here, Fit Content Proportionally. What that does is it'll try to enlarge the picture as large as it possibly can within that frame, but it is not going to crop that. So in this case you can see there's plenty of extra space down here at the bottom where it doesn't fill the full frame. If for some reason I really wanted it to, I could come over to the next button over, Fill Frame Proportionally. And now that's going to go ahead and fill the cat within the box, scaling it, cropping it on all 4 sides, but I've definitely lost some of the image area by doing that. This is when the white arrow or the direct selection tool comes into play in the cropping process. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to click on the cat picture. I'm going to push and hold down, and I'm going to see this ghosted image over way off to the side of the page here. And that is where what extra picture I had that I could play with if I wanted to. If I wanted to, I could start to slide it to the left to distribute that extra space on both sides. If I'm worried about sliding up or down as I move, I can hold the Shift or Constrain button, and that way it'll move it in a perfectly straight line. But based on the rule of thirds, I probably don't really want to center the cat, so I'm going to actually leave him pretty much where he is over here. Other option I can do with the direct select tool is I could click on the picture again, and I could use it to scale the cat. So if I hold down the Command and Shift button to scale proportionally, grab, pull down, I'm actually scaling the cat in size, but I'm not changing the frame. That's the job of the black arrow, or the selection tool. So if I was to use that, again, it's to scale it, or with that arrow I could come back in here and I could change the actual crop of the picture itself. But that's the difference between using the black arrow and the white arrow in the entire cropping process.